Hey, soul survivor. So we're going to talk about procrastination. Do you guys suffer with that? Because I've been going through kind of like a little rabbit hole the last 3 weeks, and we're all human. So is this a sign of the narcissistic abuse we've been through? We're going to talk about procrastination, what causes it, some of the symptoms, and the top mental illnesses that deal with procrastination. Procrastination is not seen as a mental illness, but it could be part of some mental illnesses. And also social media. If you stay till the end, we'll talk about how social media can cause us to get into that procrastination state. So procrastination is that complex behavior that stems from a variety of psychological factors, such as the fear of success or even failure. So it can have both sides of the coin. So some people who procrastinate, they do it because they're afraid of failing, or sometimes they're afraid to succeed. And you could think about something, I don't know, some big concert tour or winning Miss America. Now you have all these pressures put on you. So sometimes succeeding can be overwhelming, and also failing can cause us not to try sometimes. And people may worry that they will not be able to meet their own or other people's expectations of them. So they put it off by doing the task until the very last minute. Also, it could be a cause of lack of motivation. When people lack motivation or interest in something, it starts to become difficult to get started as they try to stay focused. And perfectionism. Now, I am not a perfectionist, but I struggle with it because I see objects in motion stay in motion, and I like to keep doing things. And I noticed when I do my social media, it kind of takes you down a different rabbit hole. Also, when I'm uploading videos, there's a lot of downtime, and I like to keep working. It just helps me. That's just who I am. And like the rhythm can get broken. So that's another thing that affects it. But when you're a perfectionist, you might want to do things so perfectly, but are afraid of making mistakes. So you spend so much time planning or preparing and not enough time doing the actual task. So it's task avoidance, and also sometimes low confidence. People who lack self-confidence can procrastinate. They often doubt their own ability to complete something successfully, so they shy away from it. They might be afraid of being judged or even being criticized by other people, so they tend to just avoid the task altogether. And difficulty with time management. I kind of struggle with that. And these people can tend to find it hard to prioritize tasks, to get started on them. A lot of times it's because you feel overwhelmed. So we're going to talk about some ways that we can kind of take away that feeling of being overwhelmed. And people just put it off till later, or it's too insurmountable. So it's good to bring it down into small chunks so that you feel the progress, you see the progress, and instead of going little pieces all over the place, kind of like focus in areas, tackle those areas, and you'll see the progress. Lack of self-discipline. Sometimes people just don't really have the self-discipline to get started or to stay focused, and they can often resist distractions or even hope for distractions, create distractions by setting up plans with friends, and they can often sometimes prioritize their time. It should be done a little more effectively to get tasks at hand done. So which mental illnesses struggle with procrastination? Depression. A lot of us are going through some depression. That I wanted to address this because it can be difficult to start those tasks that we need to do, and we feel that lack of motivation. And when we go through that, we're not accomplishing things. And sometimes we feel guilt or shame that we didn't get our tasks done, and it's just a vicious cycle. Anxiety can cause people to feel overwhelmed, anxious about a task, and it just makes it difficult to start. So procrastination is actually a coping mechanism. So people who do have ADHD and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, known as ADHD, can often struggle with being organized. They have problems with prioritizing and even time management. So there's also OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. These people have perfectionistic tendencies, and they often spend a lot of time, often too much time on preparing or planning, and then that leads to procrastination. They're just, nope, got a plan, and they don't actually implement. Bipolar disorder, during these depressive episodes, they tend to struggle with the motivation needed to initiate tasks. So not not all individuals with these conditions will necessarily struggle with procrastination, but it can be like a side effect of it. So there are strategies to overcome. We need to break our tasks into smaller chunks, make it more manageable for ourselves. And even though it seems overwhelming, when we break it down into smaller tasks, they're easier to accomplish. And you also feel like you are making progress. So another thing that you can do is to make a to-do list or create a schedule. That's one thing I have a problem with. I become overwhelmed and scattered when I don't write things down. So you can write things down in a calendar, create a schedule. They have it on your phone. I procrastinate too much to where I don't know how to do that very well. I kind of am learning, but there's a lot of tools out there that are right at our fingertips, and we can utilize things to help us stay on task. And by minimizing distractions such as social media or television can really help. It can cut down on going to social media or getting stuck in social media. I think that's what my problem's been the last 3 weeks is I'm doing so much research. And so I'm looking at different topics, and then it all filters through, like crazy things are popping up on your on your feed. So, sometimes it's nice to have certain things brought to you, how YouTube, different social media will bring you certain things. But what I've been struggling with is sometimes the shorts. The shorts are all over the place that don't necessarily relate to what you are researching or looking for, that you kind of get curious and then it leads you down this whole other path than what you wanted. So I get a little frustrated with that too. It's like I like to stay focused, and that kind of takes away my focus. So you can hold yourself accountable and share your goals or deadlines with others, and by setting up rewards for meeting your goals. Like, I can go swimming as soon as I get the kitchen clean, or whatever your situation might be. I need to pay those bills and I can have lunch. And practice self-compassion. Procrastination, it's often very frustrating. You need to do things, and then you get upset with yourself that you didn't do it. And there are times that we do need to take time for ourselves, but there comes a point where we got to start juggling both a little bit to make the progress, to keep our surroundings and our life in order. Once our life feels in order, we feel in order, and it helps bring back that self-esteem. So if it is persistent, you can, let me know what you're struggling with. There's also therapists that you can talk to, but if it's really impacting your daily life, it might be good to seek some help for that. But social media, this is what I want to talk to you guys. Distraction. So social media is definitely a distraction sometimes, because you get notifications, updates, posts, and it can be a constant way to pull people away from their task. And it also causes almost like an addiction sometimes to wanting to follow someone's story or finding out as much as we can. Sometimes a lot of us will get stuck in the research part. Is he a narcissist? Is she a narcissist? We need to take the focus off of what happened in the past and start focusing on today and the future. And it's time consuming. We are spending a lot of time on social media, and sometimes too, it leads to the depression that if you're searching the new supplies, social media, or if you're comparing yourself to others or getting jealous of what others have, that it brings you down into depression instead of lifting you up. So be careful what you're watching. Also, right before bed, if you had that, was it blue light, the light within like an hour of going to bed. Some say 2 hours, but it keeps you awake. It changes your ability to fall asleep and have a good night's sleep. And there's where you can compare things. It's also filled with psychological rewards. Social media can provide validation. And sometimes if we feel down and out, if we post a picture, we get all these likes, or people telling us we're beautiful or handsome, or, you know, it has the psychological rewards, and even the comments or followers. And this can lead to a dopamine rush that can be addictive and make it difficult at times to stop using social media. And you also have to be cautious that you don't crash. So, as a YouTuber, it feels good when you guys hit those subscribe or join me in chat. It feels good, but then you also have to deal with when you don't get those subscribers that day, or not that many people in chat. So we have to be aware that, it is kind of something that's going on in our brains. And so by being pulled away from the tasks that you need to complete, it makes it difficult to stay focused and productive. And I've had to change my chats. I was doing them every day, but it came to a point where I had to balance my life. And I'm hoping when I don't have to work over the summer, where that frees up that time to either do my exercise or spend time with my dog, or even do my laundry. I procrastinate where you put the laundry in the tub and then it's washed, and then you're like, I'll get to it tomorrow, and then you forget, and then you have to rewash it. And it's like a cycle sometimes where it's like, geez, if I would have just not procrastinated when it came to my mind. So it is a coping mechanism, and we can be mindful of it, set up schedules, give ourselves some grace, but be cautious that you're not procrastinating too much or avoiding things that you can succeed in. And sometimes fear of failure can be crippling, that we have to realize, we're never going to succeed if we don't try. And it's okay to fail sometimes. Just gives us the motivation, if you have a healthy mindset, to try again or try something different. Life's an adventure. So please like and subscribe. Give me my dopamine hit. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.